You ever wonder why some podcasts get all the clicks and all the downloads and some just don't? It all starts with the title. Stick around because I'm sharing 4 proven title frameworks that work every time and make your audience hit play. Let's dive in. Hi there, my friend. Welcome back to As It Relates to Podcasting. I'm Simona, and today we are diving into a topic that podcasters have a big challenge with at some point, which is naming your podcast episodes. We all know the importance of that perfect title. It's the first thing your audience is going to see, and it is the thing that can make or break them pressing play. So in today's episode, I am sharing 4 proven title frameworks that work every single time. If you're loving this topic and you're excited to dive in even more, you're going to want to stick around because I have a $7 guide that'll help you craft these proven frameworks. I've thrown in some bonus ones as well, and it will help you name your podcast overall and plan your first 3 episodes. More on that later though. Okay, let's jump into the very first framework, which is one of my favorite ones. And this is the never framework. This one is all about pointing out common mistakes or misconceptions. It's a really great way to catch someone's attention because if we're being honest, let's face it, people don't like to be called out on what they're doing wrong. For example, you can title your podcast episode, 5 Things You Should Never Do When Launching Your Podcast. This type of title grabs that curiosity and taps into the fear of making a potential mistake. It's the, I don't want to do this thing wrong, so tell me what I need to do right. Framework number 2 is the Why I Stopped framework. We all know that personal stories are so powerful and so impactful. And using this framework allows you to tap into a piece of your journey or share a deeper story, which we know resonates the most. For example, the title, Why I Stopped Over-Editing My Podcast Episode, gives listeners insight into a learning moment and promises insight into why you made a change that they might relate to. It truly does add in a personal touch that people absolutely love. Anytime you can bring people into your journey and your experience and give them a learning moment and something powerful to take away is when you're starting to tap deep into the fear, the pain point, and the emotion of the thing that they're doing and the why behind it. Number 3 is the truths framework. Everyone loves insider knowledge. That's no secret. And using this framework is absolutely perfect for that. This type of title works especially well when you're trying to myth bust or when you're adding in little extra facts that people might not necessarily know. For example, you can use the title, The Truth About Monetization That No One Talks About. Using a framework like this is pulling back the curtain on you doing something different and revealing the secret that most people won't share or a lot of people like to gatekeep. It makes your audience feel like and learn that they are actually getting something deeper than what most people typically share. That is how you continue to position yourself as that thought leader and the expert in your niche. And number 4 is the regrets framework. And of course, when we hear the word regret, we all have a different feeling that we feel within us. So this framework, this title framework, can hit a little bit differently. It's all about tapping into the lessons that people learn the hard way. But also, it's really great at giving and offering people advice based off of what you've learned, what you may quote unquote call failures or redirections, and how people can learn from that point as well. For this title framework, you can use something like 6 tools I regret not using sooner in my podcast journey, or 5 questions I regret not asking my podcast episode guests, or 1 question I regret asking X guest. The reason why this one works so well and is so powerful is because people love to learn from other people's mistakes, and using this type of title framework gives you that exact opportunity. So while that's all 4 of the frameworks that I wanted to share with you, I am going to give you a bonus one as well. If you know me and you're in my world, you know that I love to give bonuses. I love to share more content and I love to just share more knowledge because I feel like we can all learn so much more based off of the things that other people want to teach us. This is one that I absolutely love and is one that I use often, pretty much all the time. It's the start-stop framework. So it's kind of similar to the first one that I was talking about, which is the START framework, but this is start-stop. This one is absolutely perfect for anyone who's looking to make actionable change or give actionable advice or guide their audience in making specific changes. And the reason why it is so effective is because it speaks to your listeners' pain point and the exact problem that they have that they want to solve. So let me give you 2 examples, okay? The first one can be something like 3 habits you need to start and 3 you need to stop for podcasting success. Or what you should start doing today to grow your podcast and what you should stop. This title is super powerful because it promises small yet actionable steps forward. And even more than that, actionable takeaways, which I am a huge, huge fan of. Another reason why this framework is so effective is because it taps into our desire to change, our desire to grow, our desire to transform, and our desire to do better, right? And this is highly relatable, which is why it converts so well. Your listeners get automatically drawn in because it's telling them what they should start doing, but then also what they should avoid, which is a double win. Before we move on, I want to take a quick pause because if this is resonating with you right now, I have something that's going to make your life a whole lot easier, which is my $7 guide, How to Name Your Podcast and Plan Your First 3 Episodes. Not only that, but it has 8 podcast title frameworks that you can use to take your podcast to the next level. Plus, it takes you through episode planning that can help you hook your podcast listener even more. So whether you're just starting your podcast right now, or if you've had your show for a little while and you've been in production for a little bit, having this guide in your hand can help you evaluate the type of content that you're creating and how to make your episodes resonate deeply with your audience. You'll learn how to create episode titles that make an impact, content that connects, and I'm giving you those 8 title frameworks so that you can take your episodes and make them highly SEO friendly and convert your listener to press play immediately. You can grab the link for that in the episode notes below. Now let's shift gears a little bit and talk about what happens when you have those titles that convert. When you start using these frameworks, you're not just creating catchy titles. You're building anticipation and you're creating curiosity around the topic that you are discussing. And before your listener even presses play, that is really powerful. And also too, having a well-crafted title doesn't just draw in listeners, it's setting up the tone for your podcast episode. It's telling people and giving people insight into the content that they're about to consume. Ultimately, what you're doing is giving your audience a promise, whether that's solving a problem, revealing a truth, or sharing something valuable. And when you deliver on that promise, what happens? You build trust, you build relatability, you build community. And that is one really powerful way to have podcast growth, is building community, building trust, building relatability. When your audience knows that they can count on you for valuable content that is easy to find and is easy for them to understand, they're more likely to subscribe, share your episodes, and come back for more. Your podcast episode titles become the portal, the gateway for growing your overall podcast community and for creating content that could potentially go viral. This is how your downloads start to increase because you start to tap into new markets, reach new people, and have different conversations that are really, really powerful, that are answering specific questions that your audience already has and that they're already searching for. And then ultimately what you're doing is having conversations, real conversations with people that just get it and people who want more of what you have to say. So I want you to really think about, what does that momentum look like? Having episodes with titles that are just convert. It means that you are creating episodes that provide value. Having episodes that are titled with things that people are actually searching for gives you a leg up to potential new listeners. Now, the other key thing here too to remember is making sure that the content that you are creating actually relates to the title that you are saying it's about, right? You want to make sure that your titles are actually truthful when it relates to the content that you are sharing, because you can have amazing titles, but if the content doesn't match, or if the content is not what the person is expecting, then you start to maybe build less trust than what you were hoping for. But having those really well-crafted titles paired with content that answers the direct question in those titles is a powerful combination for podcast episodes that truly convert. And at the end of the day, we're looking to grow our community. We're looking to grow our audience, grow our listenership, and get our voices and our messages in front of the people who need to hear it the most. But if your titles do not follow that framework, you will have a harder time doing so. Plus, this is one really powerful way to tap into podcast title SEO. So there you have it, my 4 title frameworks plus 1 bonus one of frameworks that work every single time. If you want to go a step further and you want to learn even more or hear even more title frameworks that convert, the link is in the episode notes below. The $7 guide will teach you how to name your podcast, how to structure your first 3 episodes, which you can also use for future episodes, and will give you access to 8 title frameworks plus 1 bonus one that you can use, plug and play, and implement right away. If this topic resonates with you today, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe to our channel for more content. Thank you for being here, my friend, and I will see you on the next one.